again. I know it's been a little while, but I just want to thank everyone right off the bat for your questions, for the support and answers that that a lot of you have given me. It really has helped, and I know it's been a while since I've given an update, but hey Zoey, meet Zoey. She's kind of getting in the way, but I'm gonna try and do this in one take because I'm in the middle of a treatment week and haven't been feeling too great. But instead of rambling on because I can't really remember anything, I have a few questions listed that a lot of you have sent me through either comments or the inbox from YouTube or emailed me, and I'll go ahead and answer those. So the first one is, what is chemo like for me? Chemo is very unique. It's kind of like I don't know, like a flu bug that happens once a month, and you just kind of feel nauseous and not very good. That's the closest that I can come to explaining it. What are your side effects? My main side effects are nausea, fatigue, constipation, and memory loss, long and short term. I think all of the side effects of my meds are constipation, unfortunately. So those are my main ones. Different people kind of have different side effects. And pretty much with the Temodar, they're not sure what's going to happen, how people are going to react to it, because it can cause memory loss or change of taste or diarrhea or constipation, aggressive behavior, or just fatigue. So I don't think they really know what the side effects are, but they do know that it definitely kills cancer, and that's the main point, that that harming you is better than the alternative. Are there other treatments that you can try? When I went for the initial consult, when I was deciding who should do the surgery, Baptist was one of the options, and in Winston-Salem, and their treatment plan was that I would have the surgery and then be put on chemo and radiation. Duke's plan, which is where I eventually went to, was to do the surgery and then just chemotherapy when they found out it was cancer. So I think it's all up to the doctor's personal treatment and preference. So how Duke explained it to me was that since I'm so young, 29, that they would like to save the radiation for later on if it comes back, because if it does come back, it'll come back more aggressively. And to radiate a relatively young brain is worse as far as memory loss and those kinds of things. Does the scar hurt? Not really, surprisingly. I mean, I get a few headaches every once in a while, but you can definitely feel it. There's like a dip in my skull where the scar is, but overall it's kind of covered up and healed pretty well. The next one is, how did I find out about the cancer? Last March or April, I think it was April, I had a grand mal seizure that lasted about 9 minutes. That's a whole long story, but that's eventually how they did the CT, found the tumor, And then I had surgery at, like I said, at Duke. And then they did the biopsy. And a couple days later, they found out it was stage 3 cancer. What does stage 3 cancer mean? From my understanding, and this is not really anything official, so very roughly, stage 1 is where it's not really harmful, and you would just monitor it through a series of CTs or MRI scans. Stage 2, with my type of cancer anyhow, they would do surgery, and then that'd be it. And they would just monitor it. They'd get most of the cancer cells out, and then they would just continue to monitor it. Stage 3, which is what I have, stage 3 Oligodendroglioma. They do the surgery, and then they do some form of chemotherapy, radiation, and also monitor you throughout the rest of your life. And I think once they get up to 10 years, it's considered to be cancer-free, or they only have to do one every 10 years. And stage 4 is when it's more aggressive. They do chemo and radiation and maybe multiple surgeries. So that's definitely a more negative outcome, more than likely. So I hope that kind of explains a rough idea of the different stages. At least that's what my understanding is. What medications am I taking? And I'll try and do some simple edits here so I can actually show you what the medications are, but and I'll try and remember. I'm taking Temodar, 420 milligrams a day for 5 days. It's a 5-day on, 28-day off cycle. I'm taking a Sancuso patch, which is a patch that you wear for about a week to help with the nausea. Clomazepam, Ativan, and one other medication for anti-nausea. And the anti-seizure meds are 3,000 milligrams of Keppra, 200 milligrams of Vimpat, and 200 milligrams of Lamictal. And hopefully I'll be able to wean off some of those to where eventually I'll just be having one anti-seizure medication that I can take. The side effects of the Keppra were irritability for about 6 to 8 weeks. The side effects of Vimpat and Lamictal are dizziness, trouble focusing vision-wise, and I'm also taking multivitamin, vitamin C, stool softeners, and Lexapro, which helps with anxiety, which is another side effect of all the other medications that I'm taking. And I believe that's all of them that I take on a daily basis. Okay, next question. Are you stupider than you were before? I think a lot of times I personally think that I am, although most people understand and know that memory loss and all these other side effects are part of the surgery itself and the chemo. So I tend to forget things, like I'll walk into the kitchen and forget why I went in there, and it's only, about 10 feet away. Or I'll go upstairs and look for something in the office and just forget why I went up there. And I know, I'm getting older and all those things, but it's happening more and more frequently than I would like, and that's kind of aggravating. So you still have the same personality, and I think it's more, I personally feel dumber than I used to be. Does it make you feel worse or better hearing people's stories? A little bit of both. It makes me feel hopeful that there are people that have beat this, and at the same time, I know a lot of people mean well, but it's sort of like they are just saying something to give me hope, which I get that, and there's no really right or wrong way to respond when somebody tells you they have cancer. But at the same time, it makes me want to be one of those people that have already beaten this and that can look back and say, yeah, that was a really tough time, but I made it through. So it helps, and it's frustrating at the same time. How many times do I go to the doctor? I have two main doctors. I have the local oncologist that I see about once a month, and get blood work done roughly twice a month. And then I have the doctors down at Duke, an epileptologist for the seizures, and then the oncologist there. And they said that they would be sort of the quarterback, and they would tell the local oncologist the right steps that they would want to take. So I see the people at Duke every 2 months, and then every 2 months I have an MRI, and that's done locally, so I don't have to drive, a couple hours each way to have all my treatment done. And they work pretty closely together. Recently I had some levels of liver functioning that were a little off, and they wanted to hold off on the Timidar treatment, but then they said that it went back to normal eventually, so they're not sure what caused that. But they're pretty on top of things as far as medically and the side effects and that sort of thing. What does it taste like? I guess that's what does the Timidar taste like. It tastes like poison. It definitely doesn't taste good. I would not recommend it as a seasoning or anything to add to make it taste better. It's probably the worst tasting thing that I can think of. And I know most of that's psychological because I know I'm taking poison, but it's pretty bad, and it's hard to not kind of gag whenever I take it. And something that helps me is that I take an Ativan right before bed, because lately I've talked to the doctor and they seem to have told me that a lot of people experience anticipatory nausea, and that's where just the sight of the pills and chemo automatically make you nauseous. So the Ativan helps with that. And then I take it right before bed, and I have to drink about 24 ounces of water to actually take it, and that sort of helps. And take it on an empty stomach, so I stop eating around 7 and take the pills around 11 o'clock roughly. And that seems to have helped as far as the vomiting and throwing up, that, and of course all the anti-nausea medications that I'm on. Has my taste changed? As far as food, luckily my taste has not changed. I know at first they were a little cautious of caffeine and alcohol, but luckily in moderation I'm allowed to have those things now. I can't have a 9-shot espresso, like I used to, but you know, I can have a cup of coffee or two a day, and no alcohol while I'm on treatment. But again, maybe once, twice a week, that's okay. Because another interesting thing, not to make this too long, but alcohol actually lowers your threshold. I found this out when the doctor told me, and it's not normally the day that you drink, but it's the day after you drink, because it lowers your threshold and then it skyrockets, so you're more likely to have a seizure. I thought that was kind of interesting and didn't know that before. Have I gotten in touch with Charles Trippy? I think that's his name. Charles Trippy, for those of you who don't know, is a bassist for We the Kings, which is a band, and he has the exact same thing that I do, Oligodendroglioma, and I'm not sure if his is stage 3 or 2 or 3, but anyhow, he does a daily recap of his life. Him and his wife have this video blog where they do like a 10-minute summary of their whole day. So it's not cancer focused, but it is kind of interesting to see on a day-to-day basis what his life is like. And I've sent him a couple of messages. I don't know what the best way to get in touch with him is. I know he has a lot of fans and followers, so I just tried to send him a word of encouragement. But if anybody does know the best way to get in touch with him, leave a comment or let me know through email or whatever way you can, because I think it would be helpful to talk to him, since he's, I don't know, early 30s maybe. And the last one is, what do I do for a job? Well, I used to work for a hospital, and they, right around Thanksgiving, they had to let me go because I couldn't go back full time, and I got a prescription to either go back, I got a prescription to go back part-time, and they sort of told me I could go back full-time or not at all, and I got let go of because I just couldn't physically do it, especially with how nauseous and everything I get, and my focus is a little off. Especially for the kind of work that I used to do. So I have been detailing, auto detailing, and there's a link to the website below and the Facebook page. So if you can, check it out. I'd really appreciate it. I know it seems kind of like a plug, but all the proceeds, well, not all of them, 10% of the proceeds go to the American Brain Tumor Association, because obviously I think that's a great cause, and I would like to give all of it, but can't really do that currently. But so I'm doing that, and also just got ISF certified, which means I can calibrate TV displays or projectors, that sort of thing, and I really enjoy that. So it's kind of good in a way that I can now do something that I really enjoy and that I'm good at, that doesn't take a whole lot of time to see results, and it also keeps my mind off of, you know, this cancer stuff and everything. So that's what I'm doing. Like I said, I'll put a couple of links below so you can check those out, and a link to Charles Trippy's